months, and certainly as these bands surface, I think they're probably all going to take their live acts to a whole new fucking level. This is Malicious Inc. with Wintered Trees.
Breaking, I'm so bent on for fucking breaking. I feel defeat. I've looked the end in the eyes once too many times. Now it's just a friendly face, a familiar sight. I'll beware the sun broke out. The rain falls.
Oh, yeah. I told you we'll kind of come at you with some more atmospherics. Here Comes the Rain. That was a band out of Bristol called Malicious Inc., as in Malicious Incorporated. That was their song Wintered Trees. And guys, their website's up, maliciousInc.com, as in INC, like incorporated, maliciousInc.com. And you can get hold of that track, their EP, and some t-shirts and stuff, and hear about everything that's going on with the band. Fantastic work out of Bristol, Malicious Inc. And guys, we are still here with FJ and MA from the band O. So yeah, the album SkamHan is just, it's got, to my ears, such a gloriously diverse sound and a lot of things that will, I feel, appeal to a lot of different extreme metal listeners without being at all crossover. It's very, very natural. What are some of the influences that have gone into getting towards that sound and building who you are musically?
Yeah, I think that we draw from many different sources of inspiration. We try to be limitless in what we do, so that whatever fits the track that we're working on, we will use. So I guess that's part of the reason why we get such a diverse sound, because we don't stick to any particular genre, so to speak. Yeah,
for that matter.
Yeah, exactly. We want the sound to be organic, and yeah, kind of like a retro metal sound.
I think it's definitely organic, definitely an organic sound. So outside of metal, what sort of, and Darkest Corners of the World's a very broad-reaching show in terms of genre. What are some of the things outside of metal that you feel feed into the sound itself?
Definitely progressive rock.
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge inspiration.
Can definitely hear that, guys, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that we are 5 members of the band, and we come from such different backgrounds musically, so I guess that's also what comes through in the music.
So what you just said then is really such a common theme of the very best of metal bands these days. I think, you know, in a genre, in most of these genres are decades old now, and I think you just get such an amazing, not a conflict, I think just a melding of approaches from different people. And I think that goes outside of metal. The best bands are often have that lovely push-pull artistically with different people sort of forming an idea and pulling it in very different directions. Is post-rock something that you guys, and kind of noise rock, is that something that you guys are into at all?
Well, at least for my part, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm mostly post-rock or prog rock and like thrash metal. Mostly.
Yeah, I was discussing with a couple of friends quite recently, and it was off the back of having just played your album to them. We're discussing, a couple of friends who are very into post-rock, and we're discussing what the essential elements of post-rock are. And I think that feeling of a very, very long build of tension and a sudden release. Now, I'm going to mispronounce the song name almost certainly, but you guys can correct me afterwards. But Rod Glory is a great example of that. The tension that it slowly builds revolving around a similar pattern. When it finally makes that chordal change, it is just an amazing cathartic release. Discuss.
I think it kind of started out with the lyrics on that one. We had a very long poem we had to incorporate in the song.
So FJ, I got to say, this is one of the best vocal performances, that particular song, that I've heard in some time, in terms of extreme metal and heavy music. Your control, and delivery is wonderful in that song, because it's a very delicate musical foundation that you're laying that down over, and it would be quite easy to sound cartoonish or to kind of overdo the delivery. But how do you go about achieving that control and achieving that heavy vocal to sit in such a beautiful environment?
Like my friend says, it is all a matter of what fits the track at any given point. So, and I've strived for most of the time I've been singing to do all sorts of things. Only with growling though. So, and this track gave me it kind of gave me a possible, the option of playing with it a bit, and and I, like you said, I didn't want to overdo it over the delicate riffs and all the quiet stuff in it. So that's what we came up with. It sounded decent.
Yeah, look, in my head, and please don't correct me here, but in my head, you're a 9 foot tall Viking. It's honestly just it sounds incredible. It blows my mind. As someone who, on the side, I'm also a death metal vocalist and dabble a little bit myself. It just stunned me. It honestly stunned me. Who are the guys that made you want to roar? Who are the guys that made you want to really go to the death metal vocal?
Two guys in particular. Mm-hmm. Des Fafera of Devil Driver and Randy Bly of Lamb of God.
Nice.
I think those two do a fantastic job. Plus, they're very diverse in their vocal range. So, yeah.
Very true.
Those were I thought those were they were fantastic, and I want to do what they did, or try to emulate what they did. And that's
nice
what got me started.
If I may say so, those two bands are incredibly successful and great artists in their own right. But honestly, the environment that you're provided to work in is an entirely different beast to those two bands. So hats off for the way you deliver. Hats off for the way you deliver, and it's fantastic. So talking about that atmosphere, MA, the guitars on the album, you've got that real wash of kind of delays, a little bit of more delay than reverb, I'm guessing. But what are your approaches to achieving these sounds? It seems to me like the guitars you're using might not be the standard metal fare. Would I be right in saying that? You've not got an Ibanez with some EMGs in it or something like that, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a Fender and Les Paul combination. It's not standard metal guitars at all, and we try to kind of like tune down the overdrive on the guitars to get this more organic sound. When recording, we would rather record the guitars maybe 5 or 10 times on top of each other to get this warmth in the sound instead of just cranking up the gain. So I guess that's part of how we make the sound.
Nice. I feel quite validated because I would have sounded like a complete idiot in what I've already written about you guys if that were not true.
Yeah, exactly. And the review that you did was spot on so many points.
Good. The one thing I don't do very well, and I say this a lot on the show, and I've said it a lot to the staff writers in